Hello everyone, I am Rikita. We will explore about Unit 3 Transport System in Plant MYP4. In today's session, we will going to cover plant classification overview, types of plants like non-vascular and vascular, types of plant tissue, types of cells in each plant tissue, function of plant tissue and difference between xylem and phloem. So let's begin. So we know classification system. So according to classification, we have five kingdom classification given by R.H. Whittaker. So R.H. Whittaker gives five kingdom classification system. First classification called Monera. Monera includes bacteria. Second classification give protists. Protists include single cell, eukaryote, fungi, plant, and animal. We mainly discuss about plant. So let's study about plant. What is plant? You see plant in your daily surroundings. Like plant, it's a living organism containing chlorophyll, having having distinguished feature like stem, leaf, and root, right? So a plant is a living organism that usually grow in the ground, yes, has roots, stem and leaves and makes its own food. How it make its own food? By the process called photosynthesis. And plant having some specific pigment and these pigment called chlorophyll. These chlorophyll able to convert the solar energy into the chemical energy and make glucose. Make glucose. So this is a plant. Plant contain leaves, plant contains stems, plant contain root system. Right? So this is distinguished feature of a plant. Come on the plant classification. So generally there are two main type of plant. Let's play a quick these or that game. So, if I give you which of these do you think is vascular? So, option number one, a cactus. Option number two, a moss. So, let's study the difference between the vascular and non-vascular. Then you're able to answer this question. So, non-vascular plants such as bryophytes. So, non-vascular plants, it means no transport pipes, right? We have a proper transportation system in our body, that is circulatory system, but in the plants they don't, some plant type don't have transportation system, don't contain any kind of pipe for transportation. They are very small, stay small, right? So non-vascular plants such as bryophytes, they are very small, short plant, lack xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem, it's a kind of complex tissue which help conduction of some nutrient and fluid. So complex tissue. These xylem and phloem are absent in the non-vascular plants. No true root, stem, leaves. As we look in this picture, a plant basically distinguished into leaves, stem and root. But bryophyte or we say non-vascular plant are so small, they don't have any kind of true leaves, true stem, true root. You even don't able to distinguish which part is leaf, stem and root. Depend on diffusion and osmosis. We already covered this portion in our previous sessions. Example, moose. So basically these are the short plant don't have xylem and phloem. They are very short, no pipes, stay small and depends on diffusion on osmosis. Come on, the second category is vascular plant. Vascular plant also called tracheophytes. Tracheophytes, it means they have their transport pipe and they are grow tall. So non-vascular are no trans have no transport pipes, stay small, but vascular plant have transport pipes and grow tall. Right. So it contains xylem and phloem having true root. If you see such vascular plant, you can easily identify which one is root, which one is stem and the leaves. Taller due to support and efficient transport because they contain xylem and phloem kind of tissue. They grow tall. Example like ferns, gymnosperm, angiosperm, they are the tall plants basically. So now let's come back on the question. My question is, which of these do you think is vascular? A cactus or a moss? So a moss is a non-vascular plant, whereas a cactus is developed having xylem phloem tissue. It can easily distinguishable into roots, stems and leaves. So a cactus is a vascular plant, right? Okay, so come on, the next topic is plant tissue. Simple tissue present in plants. So tissue which is present in plants. That is called plant tissue. You can say a group of cell in a plant that work together to perform a specific function. So basically it's a group of cells dedicated to do one function only called a tissue, right? If the tissue is present in plant, it means it's a plant tissue. So let's look the chart. Plant tissue can distinguish into permanent and meristematic tissue. Permanent tissue further divided into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So basically, simple permanent tissue are the tissue which is permanent of its function, like parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Whereas complex permanent tissue is again, it's a composition of one or more kind of cell permanent of its function like xylem and phloem. So xylem further divided into it's basically xylem. It's made up of four kind of different cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber. Whereas phloem consists of the four cells, four different kind of cells. So we call complex permanent tissue, sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers are the components of phloem. Let's come on the meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue, it means it's a highly dividable cells. So it's highly active cell basically. Highly active cells. Divided into three category: apical meristem present at the tip, intercalary meristem present in the internode region, and lateral meristem present at the margin of the diameter. So start from basic type: meristematic and permanent. Meristematic is actively dividing cells responsible for growth only. They are primary and secondary. So meristematic cells basically for division. It help in division. It help in growth. Whereas permanent is differentiated cell forms. It means one cell divided. It's a stem cells. A stem cells basically a cells which able to form any kind of different kind of cells. So these stem cells make divided cells like two, one into two. Then these cells form the root portion, root system, and these cells form the shoot system. So now root system only perform root function and shoot system perform shoot function. So these are the permanent tissue able to perform single function. So permanent is differentiated cells with specific function derived from meristematic tissue. From so permanent is derived from the meristematic tissue. Let's deal with first meristematic tissue and its type. We already named it one apical meristem. Look in the figure present in the tip. So it's a present in shoot tip or it's may be present on the root tip. This is called apical meristem. Apical meristem help to grow plant height basically, right? Whereas intercalary meristem present in stem, this one, it help plant elongation. So intercalary meristem grow, divide. Again, it also helpful to increase the height of the plant, height of the stem. Come on the lateral meristem, which is present at the diameter edge side of a stem. So it's a lateral. It's increase the girth wise area like this. So from this to this. Let's discuss its location, function, and growth type. So apical meristem are found on tips of roots and shoots. Yes, function increase. They help in growth, increase length of the plant. Growth type, they help in primary growth of a plant. Now, lateral meristem along the side of stems and roots cambium. So, lateral meristem help to increase basically girth-wise growth. So, increase thickness and girth of a plant help in secondary growth. So, plant grow like this vertically and plant grow like this horizontally. First growth is vertical always and second growth is girth-wise growth. That is called secondary growth. So primary is vertical and secondary is horizontal. Come on the intercalary meristem, base of leaf or internode grasses. What is internode? So if it's a plant stem, you see a stem having the bunch of the cell. So this is called nodes, right? And the gap between the two nodes called internode. So allow regrowth of parts after grazing. So it's help in primary growth. So at the node point, the meristematic cells, some of the meristematic cells present at the node point, and these node point able to reproduce another stem, flower, plant, etc. Come on the permanent tissue type. So what are the permanent tissue types? So it's basically divided into two parts. First is simple tissue, second is complex tissue. So simple tissue is further divided into three category, three parts. One is parenchyma, second is collenchyma, third one is sclerenchyma. So let's study by the help of the image. So this is a plant type of plant tissue, basically simple permanent tissue. We'll look in the picture parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue and the sclerenchyma tissue. Parenchyma tissue are simple tissue. Yes, it's made up of only one kind of cells. All cells are generally like nearly oval in shape, having intercellular space, right? This is a cross section, this is a longitudinal section. Come on the collenchyma cells. Collenchyma cells are polygon in shape, having no intercellular spaces. This is a cross section picture and longitudinal section. Now come on sclerenchyma tissue. It is made up of like polygonal cells, no intercellular spaces, hard in nature, or it is dead part. Whereas this two one is living living kind of cells, right? So Parenchyma performs photosynthesis. As you look in the picture, it is green in appearance. So green in appearance, it have chlorophyll pigment doing photosynthesis and storage and healing. Collenchyma are hard. It help to support the plant like flexibility. It maintain plant flexibility, flexible support in growing parts. Sclerenchyma, it's a rigid, it's a tough and hard portion, supports thick lignified walls. It is made up of lignin, so it have thick lignified walls. Come on the complex tissue. So as the word suggests itself, complex tissue, it's a kind of a tissue which is made more than two type of cells, right? So complex tissue are made up of two or more variety of cells doing one particular function. These are xylem and phloem. Xylem, function of xylem, transport water and minerals, provide support. So basically xylem dedicated to transport water and mineral, it helpful to provide support, whereas phloem transport food and sugar produced by photosynthesis. So let's look the arrangement of these permanent tissue, xylem and phloem. So basically xylem and phloem are arranged like this. Like this. The yellow one is the phloem thing and the blue, light blue is the xylem thing. Xylem always helpful transport of water plus minerals from the soil. Right. Whereas the phloem always helpful to conduct food and glucose thing of a plant. These are the vascular. Why vascular? It helpful to transport the liquid, the fluid portion of the plant. And the filling. These are the this is the dissection of a stem. So this is called the ground tissue. And the external layer called dermal tissue, and it consists of epidermis. Right, let's move to next. Look in the picture how the things appear. This is the epidermis, the outer layer of the plant cells, plant's part, and the complex tissue. This is the xylem conduct H2O and phloem conduct the sucrose, the glucose things. Let's understand function of major plant tissue. What is the function of these major plant tissue? Meristematic, basically responsible for plant growth, primary and secondary growth. We already discussed that primary, meristematic cells are highly dividing cells, help in growth, help in repairing, right? And always primary and secondary, responsible for the primary and secondary plant growth. Come on the dermal. Dermal is protective layer. So protection from physical damage and pathogen attack, prevent water loss. It contains cuticle. Cuticle, it's a kind of a layer which resists water loss. Gas exchange through stomata. Ground one. Ground is made up of three. The ground tissue. This ground tissue, basically the filling. The ground tissue made up of simple tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Parenchyma do photosynthesis in leaf, storage of nutrient and water, whereas collenchyma provide flexibility, support for growing organ, whereas sclerenchyma are the hardy thing. It helpful to provide structural support, contain lignin. So it is a kind of a dead layer of a plant. Come on the vascular tissue. Vascular tissue divided into two portions. First xylem, second is phloem. Xylem transport water and mineral from root to leaf, provide mechanical support, and phloem always helpful to conducting basically sugar thing, glucose and sucrose. So this is a image, simple permanent tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Look in the figure how they are arranged, the shape. So it's oval in shape, it's a polygon in shape, and it's again polygon in shape. It contain intracellular space, right? But it does not contain both of this. Does not contain intracellular space. It have very less intracellular space. It is living. The parenchyma is living, do photosynthesis. It's also living, do per photosynthesis. It's a non-living. Come on, the complex permanent. They are the complex made up of more than two or more cells, tissue type, xylem, and phloem. Look the image, how they look like. Perforation plate, yes, these are the perforation plate basically. These are the single cell. It's a tracheids, it's fiber and phloem components, companion cells, sieve plate. Basically, sieve plate, it's like a plate basically having some minute pores. That's why it's called sieve plate. Fiber, sieve areas, and sieve elements. Look how each different kind of cells are arranged. So this is xylem vessel, xylem fiber, xylem parenchyma, and tracheids. Structure while phloem, it's composed of sieve pores, sieve tube elements, phloem parenchyma, and the companion cells. Let's comparing and understand what's the major difference between the xylem and the phloem. Both, it's a kind of a vascular tissue in a plant. So xylem conducts transport water mineral upward in only one direction, upward. It means it always conduct water from root towards upper portion of a plant. Whereas it's a composed of tracheids, xylem, vessels, right? It's dead at maturity, unidirectional. Flow is always unidirectional. Water always conduct from root to plant shoot system. So it's unidirectional flow of water and mineral. It's provide and helpful in structural support of the plant. Whereas phloem, it's transport sugar and it's bidirectional. It means the plant shoot portions such as leaves. Leaves do photosynthesis, make glucose. It's conduct glucose towards root, towards upper portion of the plant, towards different branches, right? So it's a bidirectional. It goes up and down. It moves up and down. But in this one, in unidirectional, it always moves upward. Phloem is composed of sieve tube companion cells. Phloem is a living cells. It's no helpful in structural role. Look in the figure. This is a shoot portion of a plant called shoot system. It basically contains leaves, stem, flower, fruit, etc. Whereas the underground part called root system, it contains roots, primary, secondary, tertiary roots, etc. Now this is xylem vessel, this is cambium. So basically cambium helpful in secondary growth, helpful in girth wise growth or diameter wise growth. Right? And this is phloem vessels. It conducts the glucose. It conducts water. Let's read the function and additional function. Xylem transport water in upward direction from roots to all part of the plant, whereas additional function of it provides structural support due to lignin of the wall. Phloem transport food, mainly sucrose, from leaves to other part of plant in both directional or we can say in bidirectional, upward as well as downward. It helps to support storage and distribution of the nutrients. Let's summarize it, differentiate vascular, non-vascular plants. Yes, we know what is vascular, what is non-vascular, identify plant tissue and type. Yes, we discuss about the plant tissue like meristematic tissue, perm permanent tissue, recognize specialized cells like parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, dermal, epidermis, etc., and distinguish between the xylem and the phloem. Thank you. This is end for today. In our next upcoming session, we will learn more about plants. Thank you. Take care.